What's going on, guys? It's Kyle again with DTOM Knives and Gear, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Nitch Designs Ingress. Oh, was I looking forward to seeing this beautiful, beautiful knife. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. All right, today we're going to be taking a look at a prototype. This is the Nitch Designs Ingress. Nick Rogers, who is the designer of this knife, started this campaign on Kickstarter and had a couple of variations on the prototype process. This one in particular was the final version, and this was provided to the channel by the Apex Pass Around group via Mr. Nick Rogers himself. Thank you so much, guys, for allowing me to be a part of this group, and thank you, Mr. Rogers, for allowing us to take a look at this. So, like I said, this is a prototype and did start on Kickstarter. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful in the Kickstarter campaign, and I am very, very bummed about that because I first saw this knife on Jake from Bearded Gear's channel. This was back when the campaign was going on, and I really wanted it. And Nick Jake over at Bearded Gear knew that because I'd commented on the video. I was like, holy crap! But at the that time, I was not able to pull the trigger on it because of certain things that was going on, and I am so freaking bummed. Now, I did talk to Nick, and it's not done yet, okay? It might not be this particular version of the knife, but he is not done yet. He's got some other ideas, so definitely go check out Nick over at on Instagram. I'll have it down below of Nitch Designs on Instagram, and also his website, so you can stay abrupt on what he's got going on, because he's not done. I don't want him to be done. We need to encourage him and people like him to keep going, because this is a great design in my opinion. We'll go over what I like about it, but for some reason or another, it didn't make it. There might be a couple of changes that he's going to make in his next design to be more appealing to, I guess, the masses. But this, holy crap, is my kind of knife, and we're going to go over why. So what are we working with? Like I said, this one is the second design, and then this one is the full or the finalized production prototype, I guess. So we're going to set this off to the side here. We'll talk about a few differences in a little bit. First of all, on his first design, the man was just, he had a vision. He was a knife guy. He actually taught himself, I think it was Fusion 360, which I've actually looked at a couple of different times, taught himself how to model on Fusion 360 and learn about that particular process. And that's so cool. So, basically somebody taking initiative, hey, I want to do this. You bring in a software that you don't know anything about, and you teach yourself how to use it to come up with these designs to bring to OEMs and be like, hey, this is something I want to do. I mean, you got to respect that. That is the total American dream right there. And so, yeah, you got to respect the man for that. So he did that, had an idea. This first version actually was a flipper. He quickly, once he got that design from the OEM as a prototype, he quickly decided that that was probably not going to be the way he wanted to go. The backspacer came out to like a point. It did have a flipper tab, and the flipper tab was quite a large flipper tab, which I think looked pretty sick. But for practical reasons, he decided to snub the flipper tab. He brought the backspacer down to where it is more minimalist, and well, on this version, and this is kind of what he came, was the second version after the flipper tab. Now, there were still some things that he wanted to change. The first version had more of a flat flipper tab, or I'm sorry, pocket clip. You can see the difference between this version and this version, to where this version is more of a kind of a swoop up, and this one just kind of goes directly up. He didn't like that. He thought that caused a little bit of a hot spot, so he changed that. The chamfering around this beautiful milling that's on the outside, he changed that to give it more chamfering around there. And then one of the biggest changes and that I loved was, you You see the finger or the sharpening tool here, he actually extended that out and smoothed it out to where you can actually choke up on the knife. Yeah, that was a huge upgrade in my opinion, because I like to be able to get behind the blades like that. He also made the opening hole bigger to make it better for a thumb / middle finger deployment, and then also chamfered around there. So he was listening to the community. He was listening to those who he would give this knife to and let play around with, and they were giving him feedback. And so yeah, that's also a sign of somebody who is going to be going places. You know, it's not my way or the highway. He went through certain adoration or configurations of this knife before it came down to this model, and I am so stoked. Also, as you can see here, which was not on the this second version, you see the slots cut out on the blade. That was to help with the, of course, the balance of the blade, the way the action is because of the weight. I mean, and it works out perfectly. I'm gonna go ahead and say, before we talk about anything else, that the action on this guy reminds me of the action on the Koenig Arius. And let me tell you, of course, that is a huge deal. This thing, the action is about as buttery smooth as you would want. He did a great job. And of course, the OEM that he chose was We Knives, which we all know does excellent work. And they did knock it out of the park on this. This one is running on ceramic bearings, and it has a ceramic detent ball. And it's just dialed in to perfection as far as the action of this knife. I was stoked, and to be honest with you, I could not keep this out of my pocket since I got it from the Apex Pass Around group, because dang is it nice to play with. But not only is it nice to play with, this knife was designed to be an EDC companion to do those kinds of tasks on a day-to-day basis that people need to do. It was very specific. He didn't want a knife that was the be-all end-all of knives that could do, you know, that was an EDC / outdoor / tactical. You know, he designed this knife to be a great EDC companion. I think he hit it out of the park. There was a couple of things that this is a very polarizing design. And so he thinks that this polarizing design was one of the reasons why it didn't take off. It really aggravates me that that's the case, because I do love this design. This thing is only about 7.48 inches overall length. So it's a good size for me. In my hand size, I can go, get a full four-finger grip. The ergonomics are great. I can choke up, which I really love this grip. I almost would like to have seen a longer handle, and I know a lot of people are probably polar opposites, a little bit longer of a handle and a bigger finger control just because of my personal preference. But holding it in this grip especially basically melts in my hand, and I love it. When I have to hold it back here, the thumb ramp is in the perfect spot for me to really get down and go. The blade shape and versus the handle allows you to get down on the surface that you're cutting with this Warncliffe style blade. It's just really well thought out. I'm really glad he left the flipper tab off, because obviously I love to deploy my knives with a deployment hole, because holes are greater than studs. Thank you, Mr. Jake from Bearded Gear, for that slogan, because I use it all the time. Another thing that really surprised me when I first got this thing out was I held it and I was like, damn. This thing looks like it's going to be heavier than it is. This thing is only about 4.4 ounces, and the reason is because of the very extensive milling. Can I show this? Can we show it? I don't know. This knife has got more extensive milling than any other titanium frame lock or integral lock that I have ever seen. The structural integrity of how they did it, and of course the weight reduction, is about the best than I have ever seen. This thing looks like it should weigh a lot more than it does. And it also is a very wide blade. A lot of people probably were polarized because of that, but it carries really well. This particular pocket clip, the finalized pocket clip that he went with this, just a regular bent pocket clip, it does stick out of your pocket just a little bit, but you guys know that I don't care about that. Maybe a lot of people, I know a lot of people do. They want not very much knife sticking out of their pocket, but I don't care. I really like the way that he did the pocket clip, because it fits in and out of the pocket like a dream. There is no flipper tab, obviously, on this one. It's a straight line, so your hand can get past it. Yes, it's a little bit wide, but I don't mind that. I only carry one knife in that pocket, or one thing in that pocket, and that is my primary folder. So this carried really well for me. Another thing, of course, while I'm flipping it, the access to the lock bar is in the perfect spot. It's got the perfect tension. I just really, really love the fit and finish of this guy. As you can see, this wonderful milling pattern that looks great, and on this other model has a lot of chamfering around here. Doesn't create any hot spots, but it does create enough of a texture to help you bear down on this thing. The way that I usually held this knife, okay, so I did hold it down here, like when I was cutting through maybe like cardboard or something, and then I choked up to get a little delicate. But this thing also shines in this wonderful pinch grip for food prep. This knife is an absolute beast for food prep. And a lot of us on an EDC scale, whenever we bring our own lunches and all that stuff, this thing was a dream for that. Why? Because of this very high grind on this very tall blade. This thing comes in at about 15 thousandths behind the edge. Ho, ho, ho. Slicing dream. This thing slices better than almost any other blade that I have. And with that coupled with the action, just made this thing, I didn't want to get it out of the pocket. I just didn't. I posted some pictures of this on Instagram and also on my Facebook. And I had multiple family members who are not knife people directly message me and say, I need to know a link. Give me a link to that knife. I want to buy it right now. Unfortunately, I couldn't tell. I was like, it's a prototype. You can't go out and buy it. It just drives me crazy that we didn't meet the specified goal on Kickstarter, but I really want everybody to go on to Nitch Designs Instagram. Tell that man to keep doing what he's doing. Let's get some more designs out there, because I'm telling you, this guy knows what he's doing. He listens to the community. He learned so much in that process that he did while trying to develop this knife. I'm so stoked. So, all right. So what do we got here? We got 7.48 inches long. We got a blade length of 3.25. We have a blade thickness of about 125 thousandths, which I think is a great thickness. And like I said, it comes down about 15 thousandths behind the edge. The cutting edge is about 2.91, so perfect there. It is a belt satin now versus, I think the first version was a tumbled blade. This one is also belt satin, so I think they changed that. The blade, the handle length is about 4.57. So like I said, a good size. And with this little area right here to lay your thumb in, you've got really good stability in the knife to do those stabbing tasks. It's got a nice point on it for like clamshell packages. It worked great. I'm telling you, the sliciest knife that I've had in my hand in a while. Really, really dig it. Like I said, as far as the ceramic bearings and all that stuff, the only reason that I think that this knife probably didn't make it really is because of, like I said, that polarizing design that it has, which I think is amazing. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like this out on the market, so I'm still really, really bummed. Let's go ahead and get some other size comparisons so you can see. First of all, we'll just go ahead and do the PM2, which is just one of our regular size comparisons. And as you can see, it's, as far as lengthwise that way, it's definitely smaller, just a wider blade. So I have some other, unique shaped knives that fall into this size category. There it is against the Kaiser Sheepdog, the regular size. Very comparable. You got a wide blade here, a wide blade here. These things are so freaking popular. I mean, this particular blade shape, I think, works amazingly. And as far as the action, the action on the Kaiser Sheepdog is great, but it's very kind of lazy as a flipper. I would much rather have a hole deployment like this one does. Another one that a lot of people think is, I guess, kind of an odd shape, but here it is against the Spyderco Spidey Chef. Let me wipe this off here. Spyderco Spidey Chef is one of my favorite blades, and it also allows you, with this handle shape like this one, your fingers are out of the way so you can actually get to the surface that you're cutting on if you're cutting on a flat surface. And this, it's an awkward looking blade, but this knife is so popular. It's got the same kind of materials. This one happens to be in CPM S20V, which is one of my all-time favorite EDC steels. So that steel can do anything as far as your EDC task. I'm telling you, cutting it in every single way I held this blade. I love the wide blade. I really did enjoy that wide blade, so I can do some pinch cuts, hold it up here, get some detail work. It really works amazingly. So I hope, I know that he's going to be doing some changes, in his future designs that's not so polarizing, but I'm telling you, I love this so much. I really, really think, I don't know if it was just bad timing or what, but I love this design. I want one bad. So, yeah, it's just one of those, I just don't understand. I really, really don't. We've had other prototypes on the channel before. We had the Orion Knives Solaris. That one did make it, and production will be starting on that. And gee whiz, just two totally different knives, as far as my opinion. I want to say, since it was available, I think it was like under $200 for, like 195 or something for this on that Kickstarter. Golly, do I think that is a deal. When you have the action, like I said, that is similar in action, in my opinion, to the Koenig Arius titanium CPM 20 CV, and the ergonomics and just wonderful fit and finish that you have on here, boy, all day, every day, would I have purchased this. It was one of those things in that particular time that I didn't. I had some other things that I was already purchasing, and it was just a bad timing for me, and I'm kicking that I wasn't able to do that when I first saw this knife on Jake's channel, however many months ago that was. So, like I said, his links will be down below. His website will be down below. Read that story, the story that he had on his website on how this knife finalized and design process is very interesting to read. If you're a knife guy, you need to go and check that story out. Definitely go check him out on Instagram and let him know, do not stop. Keep going, because the man is talented. And we need more people like him in the community to take that initiative like he did and get something done, because that's what he did. He's a go-getter, and I love that about him. So guys, I really appreciate you stopping by and checking this knife out with me. I absolutely love it. I didn't mention this lanyard hole. This lanyard hole is about the perfect kind of lanyard hole for most people, because it doesn't take precedent of the pocket clip. It's just kind of out here. I love that. It's nicely rounded off. I meant to mention that, and I didn't. So, and steel lock bar insert. I'm sorry. I kind of got off topic. The steel lock bar insert, actually, the design of that is really nice, because it's kind of like a keyhole on this last one, to where it's really easy to get off and on. Versus the last one where it was kind of pinned in. So really nice design is that. And also that hardware is from the backside. I love it when manufacturers do that. The pivot is non-captive. You know what I'm saying? Like, these little details just make for an excellent design. But obviously the thing that really steals it for me is this action. I cannot stop getting this open and closed. This thing makes me so happy to open and close. Anyways, guys, I'm so sorry. I love this knife so much. Definitely, like I said, go check him out. Go tell him we want him to keep going. I love you all. Stay safe in this crazy world we are living in, and we will see you in the next one.